So be sure to have a championship day with the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection, Saturdays from 12 to 2 on the Tan Talk family of stations.
This is
the radio program
with Spectrum 360. This is Mark Skogman
and TK Weeks.
Host of Spectrum 360 on the 6 stations of the Tan Talk Radio Network. Spectrum 360 is a talk radio program that features politics, the arts, and popular culture from a progressive point of view. Spectrum 360 broadcasts for 1 hour weekly on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and anytime via webcast at spectrum360media.com. Remember, Spectrum 360, news, politics, and arts from a creative and progressive point of view.
Hey Tampa Bay, Tammy here with the BCC Coupon Book. Tune in during drive time every Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network to hear the BCC Coupon Book radio show. We feature local small business owners with great deals for many services and restaurants in our listening area. And anyone interested in branding your business and getting your name out there, give us a call at the BCC Coupon Book, 727-804-6082. Have a great day, Tampa Bay.
WTAN is the home of the Bitcoin Radio Show, heard each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Join Professor Robert Thomas and crypto coach Robert R. to learn the basics about buying, spending, and growing wealth with cryptocurrency. We all know that cryptocurrency is the future, and the future is happening now. So join Professor Robert Thomas and Michael R. this Saturday on WTAN and the rest of the Tan Talk Radio Network at 10 a.m. and make your future better than today.
Thinking about starting your own business? Then you need to listen to the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. There's nothing more rewarding than starting your own business. Gene and Mr. Dukes will bring you tips and advice from themselves and other entrepreneurs that will help you get started. Have you already started your own business? Then call in and share your story to help other entrepreneurs. That's the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
From the Sunshine State, this is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Coming up Wednesday, August 31st, the Chapters Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network proudly present from 5 to 6 p.m. Kicking Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb with your host, Stephanie McPhail and Steve Acaro. Special guest, Denise DeMejo from 6 to 7 p.m. Voices for Change with your host, Miriam Injera. Special guest, Fred Shaw. Then, from 7 to 8 p.m., reach out with host, New York Yankees community consultant, Ray Negron, Frankie Valli's musical director, Robbie Robinson, and psychologist, Steve Caro. Special guest, Gus Guadagnino and Tito Puente Jr. Lastly, from 8 to 9 p.m., special 9th anniversary Chapters Wrap. That's coming up Wednesday, August 31st, live on the Chapters Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network.
This is you at the U.S. Open. This is you. Good service motion. Boom! Very good. Keep that perfect service motion you have. Right there. Good. Boom! Switch to the backhand. Lean into it. Good follow through. Take the net. Nice try. Make sure you're controlling that ball on every shot. There you go. Very good. Back. Put it away. Be tough, just like you want to win. Just like you at the U.S. Open. Right there. This is you. Very good, Serena Williams.
Check it out. With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand together. Watch Serena Williams, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman.
Not be serious! My sub. Game.
was not in the movie.
Must be the director's cut.
Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. Introducing DirecTV Stream.
Reach out, oh, with Ray and Steve. Reach out, with Ray and Steve. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Welcome to Reach Out with Ray and Steve. This is the show where East meets West, where the Yankees meet the Dodgers, and baseball meets music. And then we all come together for community. All right, now it's time for Ray and Steve.
Hey, Ray, how are you? Are you there, Ray? This is Reach Out with Ray, Steve, and Robbie. We are live on TanTalkNetwork.com here. If you want to join in, please do it 727-441-3000. And you can join the show right now. And we're here live in the studio in Clearwater, reaching out to Tampa and Clearwater and St. Petersburg. And today we have a great show because we have the folks from Heat. And they're going to talk about their work with veterans and the work therapeutically they do with PTSD. And they've been a staple here in the Florida community for so many years. So we're going to hear from them. We're also going to hear from Tito Puente Jr., and he does shows in Florida. And obviously he's the son of legendary Tito Puente. And we're going to hear about what he's up to. And Ray, you got your Thurman Munson jersey on.
Well, you know, I always honor Thurman, but you know what? Today is a special show. Tito Puente, the name, it means so much to the Latin culture. And my whole life, you know, like you hear Frankie Valli, you hear Elvis, and you hear Tito Puente, you know, and so, and I mean that sincerely. And so to have the son who is maintaining such an incredible legacy of his dad, you know, I'm so proud of him. I'm really so proud of him because as he knows, I've met his father on many occasions through the years, and I'm proud of you, Steve, for bringing him on the way you have. This is great. This is really
Well,
great.
Tito Puente Jr., just like his father, gives back to the community. I know when we did Bat Boy at Hostos Community College in the Bronx, they have a mural up on the wall honoring Tito Puente Sr. And to see that really brought the history and the legacy of this man for so many decades. To see it on the wall at Hostos Community College was an honor for me to look at that.
Well, all I know is that was great. When we walked into Hostos and we saw that, and hey, we got a lot to talk with Tito about, but let's get on with the show. And first, and we have to start off with Billy
O'Connell. Yes. You are in the middle of a documentary, and Billy O'Connell is the mastermind behind this, and his work, I could see his attention to detail has always been perfected. And in this documentary, he's covering so many aspects of your journey with the Yankees and beyond. I can't wait to see this.
Well, we're going to show a little clip, aren't we, Steve?
I think we are going to show a little clip, but is Billy there? Billy, you there?
Hey, guys. How are you this evening?
Good. Welcome. You're a busy man. You're a professor at a college in Long Island.
Two colleges,
two colleges. And we've had many conversations on the work that you do for students, and that's amazing. But you're also 24 hours, it seems like 24/7 working on this documentary. Tell our listeners and viewers out there a little bit about it.
Yes, and I want to thank you guys who put this show together for such a spectacular job. This is such a great story because almost every kid in New York wished that they could be on the field with the New York Yankees, with the players. And Ray Negron has that compelling and inspiring Bronx Zoo New York Yankees story. And that's what makes it so special, because it's a story a lot of people have never heard of. He was like the fly on the wall. And that's what makes his story incredible. How many people, after being arrested and tagging Yankee Stadium, can say that fate would take him in the direction that George Steinbrenner and his world would collide. And 50 years later, here he is. He's going to be celebrating his 50th year in Major League Baseball. And the story is just a really powerful story. I always say I think Ray's been protected by some sort of an angel. And he becomes one of the most trusted inner circle people for Steinbrenner and a lot of other Yankees, too. If everybody, I'm sure the people who watch the show probably have an idea. The Reggies, the Thurmans, the Strawberry, the Goodens. And more important is his work and your work too, Steve, in the community. The work that you guys do in the community has been nothing less than spectacular. And I appreciate you, because it's a lot of my people who are out there who are suffering. And you guys do great things in the community.
Yeah, and 6 years ago, Ray was doing a book signing at Suffolk Community College there in Long Island. And that's when I first met you and Ray at that same time. But Billy, talk about, there's so many aspects to Ray's life. How do you put it all together in one documentary?
Well, it's been almost 1 year and 3/4, so I have about 5,000 hours invested in this.
Wow.
And to take his life, I just finished a documentary that was a great documentary on an 87-year-old wrestling coach. And I thought his documentary would be hard, but because of Ray's connection with people around the world, in almost every state, and even other countries, Japan included, it's hard to put that story together because everybody wants to be part of his story. And unfortunately, you just have to tell the story, and the narrative, the way it goes is I almost see it through a child's eyes, and that's what makes the story so interesting.
And Ray, talk about Billy's work, because you guys are spending so much time together. Does he drive you hard there to get things done on time?
Well, as Billy knows, he wasn't the first kid on the block that came after the documentary. I actually had a woman who has won 3 Academy Awards for documentaries, and I had to reject her only because of the aspect of protecting family and things to that effect, and how deep she wanted to go, and other documentary people, and Billy told me that he was going to be sensitive, but in the process of being sensitive, he became hardcore. And I guess I've gone deeper into it than I anticipated going, but at the same time, never hurting anybody. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We just basically telling the truth, and And I have laughed a lot because there were so many things that I have forgotten, and I have cried a lot because of it. And I have probably lost years of my life from the standpoint of reliving and remember something, and that Billy found out. I mean, in my world, in my life, in my home, there were 6 boys, and of the 6 boys, I was the only one that didn't go to prison. And of the 6 boys, I'm the only one that's alive today. So, it's heavy.
It's definitely heavy. I mean, we have other people. I do a lot of psychological interviewing in the documentary, and Dwight Gooden's story also, because of Ray, I think also found it helpful to open up almost in a therapeutic way. And I think this documentary, Ray, opens up in a very therapeutic way, which is so healthy for him because he gets closure, or he attacks certain issues that I think he probably didn't look at as closely as he has through the documentary. And I'm not out here it's not even about hurting Ray. It's about, just like he said, telling the truth, getting the truth out there about his life and the other side of Steinbrenner too. There's a whole other side to Steinbrenner, which, not everybody knows that side. And Ray's got the stories that a lot of people have never heard before.
Right. So you're trying to capture this on the documentary, which is fascinating because you have to pull all this together in 50 years of the, behind the scenes, the off the field, the on the field, and all the contacts that Ray had. You're pulling it all together. So it's not an easy feat, my man. So I'm really thankful that you're putting this together, because having known Ray and all the community work that he does, it's important for people to know that story. It's important. This is not just a Yankee story. This is a story about bridging the gap and second chances and offering those second chances to all kids and families and agencies and schools in the community and abroad. So I'm excited about this whole thing. I think we're going to see a little bit of a teaser for our viewers out there, and we have listeners too. So can you segue what we're going to see and hear?
Sure. It's a 3-minute tease piece that I put together today for you to give our viewers, or your viewers, a good flavor of how powerful this story is and how deep Ray's roots are with the Yankees. I mean, remember, like you said, 50 years. So this is just a little bite.
That's it. Let's check it out real quick.
Can, little Ray. Ugh, don't be a punk.
Give me the can.
To me, Ray's legacy is important because he's a guy that, he wasn't hired by the Yankees as a ball player. To me, in my version of Ray's story, it's almost like he's one of the best hustlers I've ever met in my life.
He's really helped me reach out to my own community, the Hispanic community, and George Washington and Washington Heights, and I appreciate him for that. We're very appreciative to have Ray.
And basically in 95, Ray saved my life because even though my suspension, early on in my suspension, I had a couple of relapses, but Ray was right there. He never gave up on me. He helped I got to the right places.
Do these guys like you, the ball players?
I don't really care. Isn't that funny? I don't really care whether they like me.
Oh, let me tell you something. George Steinbrenner was Ray's warden.
Who do you think that was that went and told Derek Jeter that?
Certain people have told me who it was.
You know, when you're driving down 19th Avenue and you make that turn at the light there, it's ironic how you got the Elm Jack baseball fields, and then you got the opening where the gate is, and it's like, do I make the right turn to go play baseball and achieve a dream? Or do I drive another half a block and make the other right turn, go over the bridge to Rikers Island?
Ray was influenced so greatly by Mr. Steinbrenner and by Thurman and Bobby and, some of the guys that he holds close in his heart.
I think fans would want to know what your relationship with the manager was also.
But what he had, I don't think, ever realized is how close in their hearts he became.
I don't want to start no controversies because he's only going to deny it.
You
went out and took your curtain call.
That's a true story.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Have you ever heard the saying, the fly on the wall? Bat Boy, Tragedy and Triumph, the Ray Negron story. One you don't want to miss.
June 2023.
Robbie.
That's the target date, huh?
Yes.
Awesome.
Love
and
it.
And fellow listeners out there, in case they didn't see it, we saw clips of Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, Diana Munson, and also Dwight Gooden. This is Reach Out on Tan Talk, 727-441-3000. Robbie, you joined the party.
Hey, Robbie.
Yeah, I want to come into this party too and sing my praises and my kudos of Ray Negron.
Yes. 50 years of outstanding work with the Yankees and the community. So, Ray, when you see that little teaser, what does that bring to you?
That I'm getting old. You know, I can't believe that 50 years have passed by so quickly, and in the process, you know, hey, this is all our story. This is the Robbie Robinson story. This is Billy's story. This is all our story. We have all lived craziness and wonderful things of life, and so Billy O'Connell, I'm proud of you, and I thank you very much.
I just want to say one last thing, if I could. Hi, Robbie, by the way.
Hey, Billy, how you doing, brother?
Great, my brother. Just a really emotional part of this journey in this documentary is Ray revisits since 1979, the first time Teterboro Airport, where Thurman left from before he lost his life.
Yeah.
And that for me was extremely emotional with Ray one-on-one. And I hope everybody does watch the documentary. So many of you are in it.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And September 14th, we're going to have an exclusive interview with Diana Munson. She's going to be on Reach Out. So we're excited about that. I know you did a sit down for a couple hours with her, Billy. So, Billy, thank you so very much. I know you're working very hard at this. God bless you, man. We love you and keep up the great work.
You too, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Robbie, you lost a friend. You lost a person, that icon in your world. Talk about Joey.
Joey DeFrancesco was an absolute genius. In the same breath, I would say Joey DeFrancesco. I would say Mozart, Beethoven, on and on. Jimmy Smith. This guy, his genius was just amazing. He started playing with Miles Davis. By the way, look at that picture. I love that picture because one of the things that emanated from this guy's music is joy. And that picture was when we were working in the studio on the Frankie Valli A Touch of Jazz album. And that picture, which I took, there's joy that comes from this guy. And, you know, and a lot of jazz players, you kind of get perceived as being these dark kind of guys, you know, serious, always serious, never smiling, never joyous, never happy. He emanated joy, happiness, and the joy of life in everything he did. And he was an absolute genius, and he is missed. He died last week of a massive heart attack at age 51, totally unexpected.
Very young, very, very young. And you can see the pictures here with our radio people out there. You can see the closeness that you had with him. And when you see a musician and a soul like that giving back in such a way, it really takes something out of you.
The whole music community has really been shocked at this, and they have been outpouring of respect, outpouring of tributes to one of the greatest Hammond organ players that ever graced this planet. And he actually almost single-handedly brought back the Hammond organ because the popularity of the Hammond organ was waning in the 1980s. In the 1990s, this guy was a young guy that came out and captured the world with the sound of the Hammond organ again. So all of us who play the Hammond organ, and I love Hammond organ. I own 14 Hammond organs. I love it that much, and I play Hammond organ and everything I do. And so we all owe a big debt of gratitude to this guy who changed the world for all of us.
Yeah, I can see Frankie Valli was very close with him also.
Absolutely. No question about it. And that is backstage. Well, if you go back to that previous picture, that, I forget the guy's name. Some of the greatest musicians on the planet there. I mean, that's the guy from Tower Power. That's Joey DeFrancesco. That's Clark Rigsby, who was an engineer who engineered I can't think of the guy's name. He's a great jazz guitar player, but with Chick Corea. But he is missed, and it was shocking, and we definitely miss him. And by the way, I'm coming to you. I just got out of the studio with Bob Gaudio, so it's been a whirlwind. I'm down in Nashville, Tennessee, and I just came out of the studio and pulled into a parking lot so I could join the show here.
And you played at the Grand Ole Opry this past weekend.
We did. Sunday night, Frankie Valli goes to Nashville, and it was really fun to, we've had a great year in terms of playing historic venues. We played Royal Albert Hall with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. We played Radio City Music Hall this year, and then to come now to Grand Ole Opry, to the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee, one of the historic music venues in the world. And just backstage, next Monday on my Jam and Java show, I'm going to take the audience backstage at all this, because there's such iconic and historic. It's almost like Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium, Ray. There's so much history there.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. I've never been to the Grand Ole Opry, and it's one of my scenarios in my bucket list. And you're so blessed, Robbie.
I am. You know what? I was watching that documentary, and I was going to ask Billy, but I'll ask you. Did they get any clips of Babe Ruth talking about you? Because I know he had a great relationship with you, didn't he, back in those days?
Well, I got Lou Gehrig. I didn't get the Babe. He was busy.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I saw Lou on your video too, though. What is it? What was the Babe and Me, or what was it? What was the show?
Henry and Me.
Henry and Me. That's right.
The animated.
When it comes out, guys, in 2023 in June, there is a clip of Abraham Lincoln talking about Ray. So I can't wait. Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
He was a Yankee fan too, wasn't he?
Yes, but you know what? Tonight, Serena Williams is playing. She took on New York on Monday at the U.S. Open. Wow. And I want you guys to hear the crowd, the love that people from New York gave Serena, because she's probably one of the greatest athletes that ever lived. Check out the crowd at the U.S. Open when Serena Williams walks on the court. Let's check it out.
The greatest of all time, Serena Williams.
It's such an iconic moment because the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe Stadium, seats 26,000 people. I'm a tennis guy. That's the largest arena for tennis in the world. And there was a standing ovation for Serena Williams, and she won. We hope that she wins tonight. She's a role model for everybody. And we had to say a little something about Serena.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
I'm glad you did, because she is truly the Babe Ruth of women's tennis.
That's right.
That's right. Well, we're talking about legacy and music and history. What do you guys think of Tito Puente, Ray?
Hey, like I said, in my home growing up, there was Elvis, there was Frankie Valli, and Mr. Sinatra, and of course, Tito Puente, man. Tito Puente was the #1 Hispanic artist that we loved, and as you know, Steve, Tito, throughout the years, I ran into his father here and there, and I'm only sorry that I wish I could say that he was my friend, and that just didn't happen. He was a phenomenon.
No question. He was like the Babe Ruth of Latin music, right?
That's right. Well,
hey, when you're talking Latin music, you're talking Tito Puente, you're talking Desi Arnaz. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, before we bring his son on, Tito Puente Jr., we have a little segue video, and then we'll bring him on so we could chat with him for a bit.
Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is clearly Copa's pleasure to introduce tonight's entertainer, Tito Puente Jr. and his orchestra. Tito Puente, the father, achieved international recognition for his contribution to music as a band leader, composer, arranger, percussionist, and mentor. He was known worldwide as the King of Mambo. His son is determined to nurture the musical legacy left by his father. Before the night is over, we're sure that he'll be known as the King of the Clearly Copa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tito Puente Jr. and his orchestra.
Wow.
Tito, you there?
All right. What an intro.
What an intro. And you're wearing a Yankee jersey.
I'm wearing the Yankee jersey for you, Ray. All the way.
Tito, now I just listen. This is one. I got one on Robbie Robinson. Okay.
Yeah.
Because your dad told me that he was a Yankee fan. Can you verify that?
That is 100% true. And so is the entire Puente family. We love the Bronx. We love Yankees, and we love you, Ray. It's an incredible. I can't wait to see your amazing story. It's really historical. And I've been a Yankee fan. My dad took me to Yankee Stadium, the original Yankee Stadium when I was a kid, back in the 70s. Tito Puente was probably one of the first band leaders to perform at Yankee Stadium with the Fania All-Stars as well. So the Yankees and the stadium and just the whole camaraderie of being from the Bronx and New York, it all comes within the Tito Puente realm.
Incredible.
It's unbelievable. So
Tito, I gotta ask you. I mean, a lot of the kids that are the siblings of such immortals, does it bother you, or does it give you great pride to keep the thing going the way you do?
I embrace everything that my father left on this planet. What a legacy. 158 albums to his credit, 7-time Grammy Award winner, 14 nominations, too many stories, too many accolades, movies, television shows, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know, humble beginnings from Spanish Harlem, New York, young Puerto Rican kid born in the 1920s, and used to go to the baseball games back then and saw Babe Ruth himself and be a fan and learn how to play drums and piano. And then, of course, growing up in Spanish Harlem, learning his craft and becoming an ambassador of Latin music worldwide as he did throughout his entire 50-year career. I mean, something like that can't just go to wayside. 22 years after his passing, that will be this year, I still continue his music in perpetuity to make sure the younger generation today remember who he was. I embrace who I am, being his son. I'm the youngest of three. My brother Ronnie is from my dad's first marriage, and my sister Audrey, you guys might know her, she's a meteorologist on Fox 5 in New York. But I went towards the music, and I love the fact that I get to embrace his spirit, his good looks too. Hey.
Tito, I gotta ask you, when your father did the Mambo Kings, I mean, a whole new generation went nuts for what he did, for what he had done, and how he took Armand Assante to the point of almost being nominated for an Academy Award because of that moment.
Yeah, the Mambo Kings was real special for my father. At that same year, it came out in 1991. He put out his 100th album. And yes, in the movie, he played himself, and he taught Armand Assante how to play timbales in that scene. And my father couldn't believe that a real hardcore Italian guy could learn Afro-Cuban music like he did.
It was unbelievable.
Amazing. Yeah.
Steven?
So Tito, the music that you're putting out there, I know you're on tour right now, but why is it important for you to honor your father in such a big way, but put that music out there? I know you're on tour. Can you fill us in a little bit? What gives you the passion day after day to do what you do?
Steve, when I travel around the world, promoting Tito Puente music. It's beautiful to see the fans, young, old, middle aged. Everybody comes out to Tito Puente Jr. concerts. They want to see the nostalgic, hear the nostalgic music that my father left. And then I'm teaching the younger generation too about where Latin Afro-Cuban music comes from the mambo sounds of New York City that my father, presented in the 1950s and 60s and throughout his whole career. And then, of course, we integrate a whole history lesson. So when you come to the shows, I'm teaching you a little bit about Latin music and where it comes from. The likes of Machito, Tito Rodriguez, Celia Cruz, Mark Anthony, India, all the salseros and all those big Latin giants that were before us. I try to embrace them and teach the kids about that when I go on the concert tours everywhere I go. Love going up to the Northeast too, because usually that's, New York is my home. So whenever I get to a chance to perform, especially at the Puerto Rican Parade and all over New York City, I just did a 2-night stint in Iridium right there in Times Square. The fans came out. It was really nice. And it's nice to see that there's still Tito Puente fans out there.
Tito, I got to ask you, we just had 2 nights at Yankee Stadium where we sold out the stadium with Bad Bunny. Okay.
Yes.
Now I got to be honest with you. Okay. Maybe because I'm older, but I got to be honest with you. I wasn't overly nuts about the music per se. What would your father have said about Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny. You know what? I have to give kudos to him. If you think about it, this was on Saturday and I believe Sunday night. Bad Bunny performed at Yankee Stadium, sold it out. 50 years ago, guys, guess who sold out Yankee Stadium? The Fania All-Stars,
right.
The biggest Latin Beatles group of the world. Johnny Pacheco, Hector Lavoe, 50 years ago to the day. It was on August 29th, 1973 or 1972. The Yankee Stadium, the original one, sold out with the Fania All-Stars. And my dad was there that night. He performed as well. So I think if you were alive today, you probably appreciate the young, that they still respect and honor those who came before him. So I like the Bad Bunny. I think he's clever. He's good marketing, and he keeps the Puerto Rican community and the younger kids engaged. So kudos to him. Maybe I'll do a duet with him one day.
There we go. There we go. This is Reach Out, 727-441-3000. I'm going to jump aboard here. So, Robbie, what do you think of Tito Puente and his legacy that he's left? And now his son is carrying the torch there.
Well, bravo for carrying the torch. But this music is still vibrant. It's still viable, and it still translates to people today. And Latin music in general, there's such an energy. Even in Frankie Valli, you can hear tinges and influences of Frankie Valli. As a matter of fact, if the song Can't Take My Eyes Off You, by the way, I just left Bob Gaudio working in the studio with him all afternoon, who wrote Can't Take My Eyes Off You. And that song was inspired in part by Perez Prado.
Wow, man. Listen, history.
That stuff. And then also last year, Pitbull had a Latin hit with the song Can't Take My Eyes Off You. And I can't even remember the name of the Latin artist. Maybe we can be helped there. Who just had a big record with it in the Latin market.
That's nice to see that crossover appeal. And Bobby, I got to give you shouts out towards you, man. You said you got a bunch of Hammonds. If you think about it, the Hammond is the sound of Carlos Santana and Oye Como Va, which is one of my father's biggest hits. The Hammond organ really penetrates that song, and it brought rock and Latin people together. So thanks for playing that great organ all these years, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt. And the guy who played that is Jeff Raleigh.
That's right. Greg Raleigh, man, he's incredible.
He was a young kid there when they played Woodstock and did that record.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Well, we got a special guest, guys. We're going to bring Richie Garcia into the mix here. And I know, Tito, you know this guy, right?
Of course.
Well, let me give him an introduction, if I may.
There you go.
Because I've known this young man for over 50 years. He and I got started playing music in 1971. In 1978, my friend Richie Gahate Garcia got me the gig with Frankie Valli. That's 44 years ago that he got me the gig, and I still owe him a commission. But this guy's one of the world's greatest percussionists. Richie, he's played with Stevie Wonder. He's played with Sting. He's played with Phil Collins. And you can go on. And his name is Richie Gahate Garcia. Let's hear it for him.
Yes. Unbelievable talent. Richie, you there, sir?
Hey, yes, I am. You. Hey, guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you
yes,
can.
loud and clear, loud and clear.
You know, the last time I saw you was at the rehearsal that I had with Phil Collins in the car in Miami.
That's right, Richie. It's good to see you, my brother. And that's right. You played with Phil Collins, man. You the whole tour. That was incredible. And I'm so glad I got to hang out with you that night, man.
Yeah, and also I got to play with you when I played with Polanyi.
With Johnny. That's right, man. God rest his soul, man. You played. I miss Johnny all the time. I love seeing you guys in the West Coast. But it's so good to see you. Ricardo, man, mi hermano.
Oh, yeah. But
That's great. That's great.
Look at that. I had hair.
So,
hey, Tito, I don't know if you knew, you know, my dad was very good friends with Tito Puente Sr. Whenever he came to Puerto Rico, there's a picture right there. And when he came to Puerto Rico, I was about 16 years old, and I couldn't believe I heard him play timbales. I saw him first on this TV show playing 2 sets of timbales. Well, like, oh my God, I got that. That was my big influence. But really a crazy story is that I was born in New York and raised by my grandparents at the beginning. And the street that I lived at was East 110th Street between Church and the name of it today is Tito Way. And Tito Way was my influence in wanting to play timbales. Crazy.
Wow, incredible. Wow, what history. El Barrio. I didn't know you were born there, man. That's so cool. You were right there when my father was born, right on 110th.
Yeah, I'm a New Yorican all the way, you know. So, and then
there we go.
What happened was my mom, Puerto Rico. My dad was director of tourism of Puerto Rico, and he was real good with Tito Puente and Tito whenever they came to Puerto Rico, you know. So
we're the ones
there. And I'm right there.
So Tito, talk about your tour coming up that you're involved with, so people can get to see your music firsthand.
A lot of music coming up. I'm working a lot with in the Midwest. We'll be coming up with some concerts. I'm going to Sacramento this weekend and performing the music. I have a Latin jazz ensemble where I push the music of Tito Puente, all of his greatest hits. I got a new album called The King and I. It's out now. You get it on all digital platforms, on Amazon Music, of course, iTunes. And I got some hot sauce that comes with it too. You can go to Tito Puente Jr. myshopify.com. I got some salsa to eat and salsa to listen to. And we're going to be heading up to Long Island on October 27th for a nice big event with the Latino Civic Association. We're going to do a beautiful concert for them. Shouts out to to all the people, to Stephanie and to Helen, all the people that are putting it all together, and of course you, Steve, for thanking you for putting me on. And I'm glad I can help support the community out in Long Island. I love Long Island. It's a beautiful place. Shouts out to Jackie Nunez too, a real good friend of mine.
Yeah, Jackie's great. Jackie's great. We love Jackie. And also, we're in Florida here in Clearwater. You perform in Florida as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing something in Orlando, not too far from you guys, coming up on the 24th of September in Castleberry. I'll also be in Pompano Beach. There's the flyer there. Pompano Beach on the night before, on the 23rd, I believe. Yeah, 23rd, and then the 24th. So we're doing some concerts in South Florida. But I love Clearwater and Tampa. I'm always out that way. And I'd love to see you guys in concert. If you guys want to make it out to one of the shows, just let me know. I'll put you on the list and give you some concert tickets. But bring your dancing shoes.
There we go. Now, we're 15 minutes from the Ruth Eckerd Hall. I know you performed there a couple of years back. Did you like performing there?
Beautiful venue. I love Ruth Eckerd Hall. I had a mixed crowd, too. I had a lot of my older fans, you know, the elderly fans that went to the Palladium, the New York fans. Of course, there's plenty of those down in Florida. And then I had some young kids there, too. So it was a really diverse mix of people. But Ruth Eckerd Hall is a beautiful venue. I hope to play there again for their new season coming up.
Wow. Hey, Richie, I've got a question for you, Richie Gahate Garcia.
Yeah.
What does Tito Puente mean to the Latin music community?
Well, he's our biggest icon. I mean, he first of all, like Tito said, he made over 115 records. His music was heard not only in he opened the doors for all the Latinos, you know what I mean, and all over the world, not just the Latin community, but his music was heard by everyone. I remember the first record I heard, I think it was Herman's Beat, Fuentes. I can't remember, but it was a crossover to Latin jazz, and it all over the place. And I believe didn't he do some stuff for the president at one time, or he got an award or something? It's been a while, but the thing was, he was the biggest influence on all of the young people coming out, and not only locally in their countries, but being able to cross over into, shall we say, the American world, for lack of another word. And by the way, I just want to say hi to Steve and Ray and stuff. Thank you for having me on the show. And Robbie, my dear friend, many, many years. And yes, Tito was a big influence, and I still play the Tito Puente model team, you know. And
Wow.
And I will always do that, you know, in honor to your dad and the fact that he was my big influence. So.
We love you, Richie. We love you, man. You're an amazing percussion player, and I love the camaraderie that when I see him and the other Hispanic percussion players and all the Latin percussion players playing Tito Puente timbales, LP timbales, congas, bongos. It's incredible how much you guys influence my playing as well. So I appreciate you, Richie. You're doing a fantastic job keeping the music alive.
Tito, I gotta ask you.
California, you contact.
Yes.
Tito, I gotta ask you. I know that you're a big Yankee fan. Who is your all-time favorite Yankee player?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with all-time favorite. This one's personally mine, my personal shirt, but I got one from himself, and that's number 44. That's Jackson, baby.
All right.
Reggie.
Okay.
There you go.
Reggie. He's just, I think it's because I was born in the 1970s and the 80s, and he was just the pinnacle of players at that time. And he was just my all-time favorite. He always will be.
Tito, how can people get a hold of you?
Man, you can follow me on all my social media pages at Tito Puente Jr. on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on TikTok too. My kids got me doing that. Doing a lot of concert touring. I'll be out on the West Coast, Richie. I want to see you. I'll be out there in October, so I'll call you up when I get out there. And Ray, you invited to the shows too. I'll be up in New York area in October. Hopefully, I can see you guys. And Bobby, you're everywhere, so I'll probably run into you on the road and give my love to Frankie.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee now, but I live in LA.
Okay, all right. I'm heading out to Knoxville out that way a couple of weeks, but I'll look you guys up when I head out to the West Coast. But
Tito, be careful. Be careful. Robbie's a big Dodger fan, so just saying.
It's all good. But I gotta mention one thing to Tito, and that is your father, and you may know this. Your father loved Billy Martin.
Yes. Yes, he has a big photo. My mother still has a photo of Billy and my father. Because Dad used to go there all the time. Real quiet, bien calladito, but he would go to the stadium and hang out with all the players real quietly in the locker room. But you would never believe it, but it'll come out in the documentary series just like the one you got. Tito Puente is and always will be Yankee fan for life.
Richie Garcia, Tito Puente Jr., thank you so very much, gentlemen. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Tito Puente Jr. and Richie Garcia, unbelievable. But this show is sports, entertainment, community, and in studio here in Clearwater, we have two gentlemen that represent HEAT, Veterans Heat Factory, honoring, empowering, assisting, training veterans, and dealing with PTSD. So we have Gus and Sean here. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Thanks for having us. Yes, talk about HEAT, guys.
HEAT is an organization that started 4 years ago to help veterans. You're pretty. Help veterans combat the stigma of PTSD. It's something that we've been working on for 4 years. We don't work just with the veteran. We work with the family. It just affects the whole family, and we want to save lives. And Sean is one of our heroes, and he could speak very strongly about it. And it's come a long way.
Now, Sean, you served in 2001 to 2013, so thank you, sir, for protecting our country. And we had a conversation the other day, and it's remarkable the efforts that you do, but what you're doing now to help other veterans is incredible. Share a little bit about your feelings about HEAT.
Yeah, so I got with this organization here recently about 5 months ago, and I was really looking to kind of get involved and help my fellow veterans. Whenever I got out of the military, I did not have a lot of support. outside of family. I have a great family, great support system. But there was nobody to go, hey, this is who you need to talk to. This is where you need to go. These are the proper organizations and how to get veterans help across the VA administration and basically any support. When it's time for you to get out, it's time for you to get out, and you're kind of left to your vices and figure it out. And but I did go through the circus of all that. I'm a Purple Heart wounded veteran, and I had to go through some surgeries and get through some stuff. And so once I was able to get back on my feet and my family's help and everything, me and my wife were talking, and I was like, I really want to find something that I can help veterans and that I can support them through transitioning back into our civilian life and our civilian sector and being able to thrive past the military and put that experience behind them and be successful for everything that they do. So I got with Gus and our lead doctor, Diane, and she has pretty much set me up for success. So I'm trying to get with everybody, trying to put our message out and get everything going so we can get some veterans in there. And we have quite a few now, and it's great to hear their stories. It literally runs the gamut of every branch of service, ranging from, Air Force, Navy, Army. It's amazing listening to these guys, and each one of their experiences is very, very different, and they come from a complete different walk of life, and it's a totally different culture, and everybody from literally all across the United States. And they've been great. And I'm really looking forward to get more veterans in and being able to support them and do the mission that we need to do here. So
unbelievable work. Now, Ray, we did a show, Bat Boy, here with Heat a couple of years back, and Ken Fagan was a good friend of yours. I know he's a good friend of yours, Gus. Is Gus too. Talk about Ken Fagan.
A great human being. Go ahead, Ray. By the way, hello.
No, I was
Ray.
just going to say, Ken Fagan, as I always used to tell him, he was one of my heroes. He flew many combat missions, and he came back alive, and he did what he had to do. And I will forever be proud to say that he was my true friend. That's all.
Yep. And very dedicated to helping others up until the last day. I mean, he last couple of times he came, he was in a wheelchair, but he just wanted to keep on helping as much as he can. What a great human being.
Great human being who, hey, anywhere we had our show, Ken was there. Whenever he didn't care. He was there. No matter what part of the country we were in, he was there.
That's right. I remember the show we did at Fort Hamilton. He came with his grandson, and it was such an honor to see him up on stage and sitting in the front row. And Gus, talk about what your vision is for Heat moving forward. You're going to start a new show called The Heat Is On. And basically the mission of the show is to bring stories that the veterans are going through, but also to help people that are struggling with PTSD, correct?
Yeah. One of the biggest challenges we have is PTSD is not visual. It's your hidden wound, if you will. And a lot of people can't tell right away because there's a lot of people that have PTSD that you really can't even tell, but when they get their triggers, that's when it happens. So we need to get the word out more and more. And the show that we're doing now, I'm going to be doing, hopefully we'll get more awareness about it because basically we're all volunteers. It costs money to do that, and we need donations. And we're growing. The more the word gets out, the more need we have funds. And I'm hoping and praying that this helps us.
It will. September 14th is right here on Tan Talk from 6:30 to 7, starting every Wednesday. So, Sean, this is hard for some veterans too to come out socially, correct? I mean, to talk in open and on the mic is even different. So we're going to have veterans that are going to be calling in and maybe not be anonymous, maybe not share their name, but share the story. Is that the focus that you want these stories to come out, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these guys have stories that they really don't put out. And what needs to happen is our legacy and the things that happen during our deployments and through our time through theater and everything that we've done, being able to share that creates the memory of the gentleman who had passed. There's a lot of people that did not get the opportunity to be able to share their story, and their families are sitting in silence at home. And we have 22 service members a day on average that are committing suicide. And, it is a real concern. And it has been a concern. Our U.S. government knows these numbers. Our fellow troops know these numbers. They screamed it. They yelled it. Everybody support the troops, support the troops, support the troops. And these guys are suffering alone. And it's, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And we need to take the opportunity and scream as loud as we can get and get the attention and get these guys to know that they can share their story. They can open up. They can heal. They can move past everything. And it's just a huge effort. And sometimes it's really kind of grab them by the shoulder and go, hey, I'm here. You know, you got a brother. You can talk. You can be here. And we are. The heat is always open. You can call in and we'll schedule and get you an appointment and get you the proper support that you need.
We're going to say goodbye to Florida right now, but we have a few more minutes left on the show, so don't go away. And people get a hold of you.
They can go on our website, which is veteransheatfactory.com. They can call at 352-251-7015.
Right. And Gus, why do you want to do this show? Why is it important for you to do the show?
It's very important because this all came out of a prayer. God gave me I wanted to do something. I'm not a veteran, but I always got involved in different projects with veterans, and I was looking for another one to do. And it was almost 8 years ago that I got a call from my accountant that said there's a professor from St. Leo College working with a dog trainer behind the main site in the woods. I knew a little bit about anxiety and all that, but they wanted to see if there was a difference between a veteran that has PTSD and a dog that can sense adrenaline. And when I started hearing about 22 a day that killed themselves, I knew I had to get involved in it. And that got me into another organization where veterans would train dogs to be their assistant. But then I found out that we needed more to do. We needed to get them back into society. They were just not, they were coming back for a comfort zone, but not doing much with it. And society themselves are turning their back on veterans with PTSD.
Right.
Sickening.
And Ray, amazing work. Robbie, doing God's work.
You know what? God bless you guys for what you do, because what happens, the armed forces of the United States of America have been putting their lives on the line, the men and women of the armed forces, since the Revolutionary War. I mean, back in Ray's day. I kid. But to be real, what you guys do, and guys have been paying the price. Men and women have been paying the price for centuries, coming back from the horrors of war. And finally, in the last few decades, we're starting to become more aware of what these problems are. And it's gentlemen like you who are part of the brotherhood of the family of the veterans who can create an awareness for this, so we can hopefully resolve and fix and heal some of that. So God bless you on your endeavor.
The heat is on, starting September 14th, 6:30 to 7 p.m. right here in the Clearwater Studio, Tantalk. Can't wait. Veterans Heat Factory, honoring, empowering, assisting, and training. They can be contacted at 352-251-7015. That's 352-251-7015. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in here.
Thank you, Gus. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right.